All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Fruits Basket.
I almost said Crit Teacher Onizuka.
Oh my god. All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Fruits Basket.
Now I wanted to do it. All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Fruits Basket Season 1, Episode 16. Okay.
I know how to do intros, yes.
Yep, that's right.
All right, so in the last episode, we met the name, what we had named, Great Teacher Mayuko-sama.
That's right. Who apparently dated Shigure for a whole month before realizing that he was
Crazy.
no good trash and crazy and
No,
kicked him to the curb.
no, I will not have you shit talk him. He is shigu talk him.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
yes.
no, see.
I'm not going to shigure coat this either. All right. He is a great boy. He's just crazy. That's all.
He is no good trash that we love.
Go on.
Yeah, like, but they are on a trip. The three core characters, and then of course the three grown-ups, who had a wonderful talk and everything, and were there for Hattori because of the whole deal with the wedding of his ex-fiance, who he wiped the memories of, and all of that. But okay, as far as ties into this next episode, I'm not exactly sure what direction it's going to take it, and he's making me pay for what I said, so I'm just I'm just keeping it going at this point.
So. And then we also have everything going on with the three main characters being at this lake house kind of sorts. I think there could be some really interesting things that they explore now that they're, well, kind of off in their own space and having just dealt with a lot of awkwardness of what was going on there.
Sure.
And the fact that some things were said, especially from Yuki's side of things, where it's like, I don't...
Yeah. And certain things were witnessed and such that could cause complications
down the line
when they end up being brought up.
Yeah. So I want some really heavy focus on the main trio.
Yes, I would love that.
And get some stuff going there. So yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Oh my god.
Wow.
This show, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. There's a lot of things that we knew about Uo that this episode kind of gave us details for. Like, it wasn't like big surprises on a lot of the stuff there, but it was still just so powerful with the way it was delivered.
I just realized something.
What's that?
Not only do I love this episode, and I've been hoping for something like this, even though I didn't realize that that it would look like this,
Okay. What did you realize though?
But when we see them at New Year's and her dad's like drinking and she's like, "Hey, just the one."
Oh, yeah.
Not only did she get saved by Toru, but maybe because and whether it was because Toru saved her dad,
I think it's because Uo saved
her dad.
Yeah.
That seeing the intro shot that we get here, and we don't even necessarily realize who it is, right?
Yep.
We don't recognize it, right?
No idea who it is.
And then to realize where they've gotten to, right? And that adds so much more to Toru's whole thing of, oh, I don't want to be a burden on her and her dad, right? It's like, oh God, yeah.
There's some great contextual stuff that we now get because of how we see the details of the situation to be.
Right.
So Uo is in a situation where her dad basically had become essentially
he had shut down.
Yeah, he had shut down. He did not eat. He drank. He hoarded. He did not clean. He probably would have gotten really sick and stuff at this time and everything like that.
Who knows if he was actually able to keep working?
I guess he probably ended up just losing his job if that's the case. But we also see that Uo very much found something that she was kind of rattled by with Toru upon meeting her for the first time. Which I love the silliness of the in my head, Crimson Butterfly 2.0 will be just
an absolute
terrifying
demon that is ruling the school.
I need to come in with my hands in my pockets and ready to go. Yeah.
Toru's carrying the notebooks, bumps into her, and then bows to apologize, and all the notebooks just fall over. Like, so perfectly uniform, just whoop. Like almost like she was like rolling out a carpet or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I love the way Toru's introduction just set up everything we need to know about how she's been consistent in this aspect of her personality from the beginning.
Yep.
So, okay, wonderful. So much more attached to Uo. Probably gonna get more Uo focus in the next episode.
Because it seemed like this wasn't an open and shut thing. Like theoretically, it could be because
it was a loop, if anything.
Right? Yeah, and so it could be considered closed, but we could definitely get more to it because I want to see how it went from that to what we have now.
Right.
You know,
we might have to just guess at this point, but for now, that's just a wonderful setup.
Excellent episode.
Yeah. So okay. NE episode though starts off with the swimsuit thing. I want to go in a little bit on this because I feel like it's actually really odd that Toru specifically kept that swimsuit, not just from the financial side of things, which I get. If that's the only explanation, I get it.
She doesn't have a lot of money. Cool.
It would be wasteful. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. But
and she generally has trouble admitting her own needs or things for taking care of herself.
Yeah, that's where I think the angle I want to kind of poke at a little bit more is that she knew Uo gets distressed seeing this, basically.
And that's
this
why
is not a surprise for Toru.
Oh.
Meaning that she's like, oh, yeah. I mean,
right.
I'll
and
get
yet,
one eventually. You know?
Well, right. And Uo's distress was the thing that ended up convincing her to actually get one.
Well, no. Uo didn't, Uo just said, we're going to go shopping for her.
Oh, that's right.
She did not convince Toru to get one.
No, yeah.
She literally forced her, take it, this is yours.
Yep.
So that's why I want to bring this up, is that Toru did not make this decision because I think she would not have at all at any point if Uo did not make a big deal about it.
All right.
Therefore, the actual reasons as to why she didn't wear one or buy one or what have you might be a little bit deeper than that. And
what's the stuff that's bubbling to the surface, or
well, it's just the thing of that she wouldn't have bought one,
right?
And yet she was kind of almost aware that this is a thing that Uo feels is just wrong in some ways. Like the way she described it is, it's like if old grandparents go and buy convenience food, and she's like, this is so wrong. No, no. And it's hilarious because Uo and seeing Uo cry over something like that. Yes. But just the idea that, I'm kind of with Uo on this one. In a lot of ways, I feel like there's sometimes an element of unexplored emotions, or at the very least, not necessarily trauma, but some kind of pain or some kind of fear that prohibits people from kind of breaking out of the mold of a specific thing that they've just come to accept as this is the way I do things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a weird way to connect that thematically to the Uo
past?
No, to the Uo just general struggle. Because what it really is, literally, is it's just the reason for why we're focusing on Uo, is that Uo has this thing to where she's like my sister. I have to look out for her because now her mother's gone, so you're the Yeah, we get it.
And she also might have an emotional soft spot for people that aren't taking care of themselves. I wonder why.
Yes, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yes. All that I think is just given. That's the obvious stuff. I feel like the not obvious one is the idea that she's actually this is one of those areas where it's the idea that she would have slept in the tent the whole time if the landslide never came.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Right.
That's
this is
a problem.
Right. The swimsuit is an example of an ongoing problem for Toru where she doesn't take care of herself. Because I feel like it comes down to a thing of not recognizing her own self-worth. You know?
Yep.
And
while something like that, yeah.
And while there's a part of that can feel like, she's being so sweet and everything with the people around her and stuff, and she's being such a blessing to other people, never ask for anything, and that's and that can be kind of idealized, but it's no,
it's unhealthy.
Right, it's unhealthy. There's the whole storybook thing, right? Even if you don't have people that are conning you, right? It's not healthy to force them to need to be looking out for your own well-being because they won't necessarily know. You'll be able to do that a lot better than they can, but if you choose not to do it, then then you actually are becoming a form of a burden. So yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to focus on that because I feel like it does connect a little bit to the idea that Uo's issue when she saw the way that the child and parent kind of leaned on each other, helped each other out, shared, kind of the burden of the house in a lot of ways there. She was just like, nope.
Got to get out of here.
No,
yeah.
this is...
No, right. I don't want to... She didn't even understand fully why, but she just knew that something that she was seeing was like... It was like oil and water. Like it was something where if I let this to actually like come into true contact with my soul, basically, some part of me will die.
Some part of me will experience a lot of pain.
Right. Yeah.
So I loved the full circle of coming all the way back to now. We realize that this is Uo. She's coming back to her father, who is in this situation. I loved the journey to get there, though, because I genuinely really, really empathized with the whole, mother left first grade.
Damn.
Okay, gotcha.
Left and didn't try to take
child.
Her. Yeah.
Yes, did not take Uo. That's a thing that I feel like is, I don't know the best way to describe this, but I think that maybe it's just I'm used to seeing the mothers get custody of the children specifically.
Because if mothers want custody,
they will almost always
get it.
And
so the real thing here, even if Uo wasn't able to fully understand it, is that actually no, she probably did have this general sense is that her mom didn't want her. And it's not just like a potential childhood fear, like the when a kid is adopted and they're like, why didn't my birth parents want me? That can be a whole nother set of circumstances. But in this case, it's actually just, no, she didn't want you.
Yeah. She wanted out.
Yep.
And now it makes a lot more sense why she was so much a fan of the Crimson Butterfly.
Yeah.
The woman who does not need anybody else, who takes no shit, who is kind of also like, this perfect, just
like imperious, like unstoppable force.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Untouchable. Nothing can hurt her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture in this little girl's head of what she would want to be, but a mother also that she probably wishes she could have.
Sure.
And then based on what we know before this episode, we know that what was her name? The mom.
Oh.
Kyoko?
No. I don't remember.
Oh shit. We can get her name here in a second. But it was Kyoko.
Okay, yeah,
Kyoko. She very much was a mother to her once Uo essentially got more comfortable with going over to the house and stuff like that.
Yep.
So there's so much that this kind of connects the dots for a whole bunch of things with not just Uo but Toru and her mother specifically.
Yeah.
So, and then you can see that the boys as well, like they're listening to this very intently.
Rapt attention, not just because it's talking about Toru's family,
but it's because it's talking about
having parents.
Mom.
What?
Well, no. Like they have tie back to some aspect of Toru's mom. Like that's the whole thing with the hat.
There's some kind of connection somewhere.
At least with Kyo, at the very least, like Kyo was feeling all guilty and stuff like that, and like shamed and stuff when he was at the burial thing and stuff. So this is like a unique kind of extra perspective on Toru's mom.
What was the thing with the hat? That was Toru though, right?
No, we have no idea who was the one wearing the hat. All we know was that it was probably one of these two boys.
Right, but the of the two people, there was the young girl, and then there was the young boy, right? And we don't know who the young boy was, right?
No.
Right.
It's probably one of these two, though.
Right, but the young girl was Toru.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, but I can very much this is something I've made already a connection in my mind. Is that's the only thing we have as a connection to these boys, Toru's past. Therefore, we need something that's a connection also to Toru's mom, which Kyo has some kind of connection to because of the way he feels so negative about the fact that the burial there. So I've connected in my head that the hat incident has something beyond just, oh, I wore a hat and it fell off my head and
or I gave a hat
into
to someone
Toru when she was younger or something.
Right.
No, there's something there.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just sitting there just like, we're just listening, spellbound. I have never seen them this quiet in the whole dang show.
That's a good point.
That is a very like intentional thing by the creator to have them sit there and just say nothing.
Yeah, because it is something that is kind of needed in the episode in order for it to be focused on Uo, right?
Sure, yeah.
But that is still a character decision for them.
That is a very big character decision. Yeah. I feel like it's the kind of thing where we can tell that Uo's setting up the boys to be better friends and better connection people with, because there's the crush angles and stuff. But just the idea that she's like, this is an opportunity. I'm going to use this to put these two boys in proximity with Toru for a moment that could be a really special memory at some point in the future.
And Uo is also the one that is. Well, okay. I mean,
she's
not the one. Yeah, she's shipping. She's very aware. Like, most of the characters, other than the ones involved, are aware of the crushes that are going on.
Yeah. I think at the very least she understands that because these two boys like her, that they'll end up being able to take care of her in ways that she won't be able to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a really special thing, given that we now know even more how much Uo cares about taking care of Toru.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And man.
Yeah.
Just this is just opening so many doors in my mind about why so many people like this show, but specifically also my foster brother thought this show was
like the best.
One of his favorite shows of all time.
Yep.
And now I'm like, oh shit, I know even more now why that is.
Yep.
Damn. Wasn't ready for that.
And I'm also really glad that we got this episode, not just because of how good the episode was, but because I feel like this sets a precedent for being able to get in-depth episodes that don't necessarily have anything to do with the somas.
Yeah.
Because the somas and the whole idea of turning into animals and all that stuff, that's a very like, of course the plot's going to focus on that a lot, right? Because that's what it for the most part is about.
Right.
And yet what this story is really about isn't about the fact that they can turn into animals, it's about the family that forms around these characters, right? So the fact that we're getting backstory and holistic episode focus on a character that doesn't have anything to do directly with the whole turning into an animal thing, I'm really excited, because that means that with episodes in the future, we could get a Hana episode, like we'll almost definitely get one, I would say, given that we got this, but we could also get episodes with other characters, like, and given how long the show is, theoretically, all kinds of characters could be introduced and then given really good focus. So,
and Uo's one of our favorites.
Yes,
in terms of
Uo
side
is
characters.
awesome.
I mean, Hana is in some level, I would say, a little bit less interesting because she's more of the meme of the waves,
Right, and it's funny and fun and all that stuff, and I like when Hana's on screen, but Uo is like,
yeah. I think it's that semi just delinquent, powerful energy of just like, this is my Toru.
Right. Well, yeah, she's got that big sis energy that Toru really needs, because Toru doesn't take care of herself. And so, it's just, it's the whole thing of seeing characters that are very much not perfect, but they might be perfect for each other, and they can help each other and all of that stuff, and cover for each other's flaws and all that.
So good.
Yeah.
I love also you met your hero, and immediately she's like, no, I don't like
this.
I don't like the way I'm having my image of you shattered.
Yep.
And then she goes back to all of this stuff with being a part of a gang for a while, and it's not some like small portion of time.
Nope.
I like the idea that she met Toru and, by extension, Kyoko long before she ended up actually getting close to them.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Also, the line that Kyoko gave of like when Uo was like, "Hey, what happened? You know, you're such a disappointment, right?"
Yeah.
She's just like, "I just relaxed a bit, is all."
Yeah.
That's
meaning that there's a couple ways you could actually take this. How do you take it initially?
So one thing that I love that this show gets into because sometimes the idea of the delinquent in anime oftentimes is done in ways, or sometimes is done in ways that I feel is kind of respectful, not just done as like a trope, you know. But sometimes it can feel kind of dismissive, right? Of it's just like, yes, there are people that are delinquents because they're delinquents.
This character
right?
bleached their hair.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You know, all that stuff, right? But the idea of explaining in such a simple way that doesn't say that all like that is not like categorical about it, you know,
not generalizing,
but basically that there was something that was being processed in the delinquency, right? And it ended up running its course, right?
It's a personal touch to the story.
Yes, and I love that. I love that because it's it would be so easy for Uo to just be the character that's like, I'm a delinquent, I'm cool. Right, like hell yeah, but it's like no, that there was some stuff that she was going through. There's a reason that she ended up like getting involved with those crowds, and
a journey.
There was a journey that she was on, right, and now she's gone through that journey, and in the same way that her her hero went on her journey, right, and in a lot of ways, even though it's a different kind of one, Toru's on a journey.
Yeah,
all of the Somas are on journeys, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah. I really like the relax a bit. Because I think it's an encapsulation of what going back home that night was. Was that for a second, she's like, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to spend the night there. Oh, okay. You going to like smother him or something?
Right.
She goes back. She can't relax.
Nope.
She has a brief moment where she realizes, I can't. Like, she has a brief moment, I think, where she's like, I can shut my door, collapse here, breathe a bit, but then the sound builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, and she's just like, nope, I can't handle it. But what was that point where she did relax? A place where she could sit down and it was quiet. It was peaceful.
Also, something that it's an innocuous detail, and it feels kind of almost trite. From one perspective, but the fact that when she went into the house, right, when we see that scene, it's excellent visual storytelling, right? The TV going on with the kind of vapid, pointless like reality TV segment or whatever,
it is,
and just literally just like her dad watching it like a vegetable, dead, and we see the how messy it is, the beer cans and things like that, right? The dinner that
trash,
the piles of trash, the dinner that was not opened, right?
That she probably made or prepped specifically for him at some point, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
And we can tell that this is what drove her away, right? She wanted to get away from this.
Yeah.
But then later, when she goes into her room, we see that it's actually just the same in there, right?
Yeah.
That basically she left that environment because it was getting to her.
Yeah.
Right? She comes back to try and face it, and the thing is that it's gotten to her. Right, like her own room is a mess. Yeah. So I like that as just a way to show how bad the situation got before she ended up leaving.
Yeah, and I also just really love that now maybe there was a point. This is just another way to look at it. Is that there was another point that she did actually find this environment something that she could sustain, that she could be in there, but maybe now that she's seen the environment that she could have potentially with Toru.
She's woken up and now suddenly she realizes that
she can't sleep here anymore. Maybe
suddenly
she can't,
the smell of the trash gets to her.
Exactly. And that's something that hits really hard because I've been in situations, environments, and with different people where they have that moment of going, "Oh, this is normal," and they go, "Oh." Right. Like a great example of this was I was hanging out with someone, and I could tell that they were really uncomfortable about the fact that one of their parents was coming back while I was going to be there.
Oh.
And it was just this thing of like, hey, let's go outside. You know, let's just go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And I was just like, okay. Well, I ended up going outside, and I heard the door from outside like slam like really hard, the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just this moment where I realized my friend just kind of like twitched when that happened. And I was just like, hey, is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, everything's good. And I went back, eventually inside after we'd been out there for like 90 minutes or what have you. And their parent was asleep, taking a nap. And one of the things that we really liked to do was we liked to watch like little sci-fi TV shows and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But they were sleeping out in the living room where the sci-fi TV show was.
Gotcha.
And we were just like, let's not do that. And it was just one of those moments where I remember like talking with my parents afterwards, because I eventually went home because they came and picked me up. And it was this thing I was like, I don't think there's something good going on there. And they were like, yeah, like everything's good. Just know that like some stuff had been going on basically. And it was essentially a like divorce kind of situation and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and the parent was a bit,
Not taking it well.
yeah, was a bit on edge just in general,
Mm-hmm.
and yet it wasn't necessarily that there was anything like any kind of like domestic abuse or anything like that happening there, but it was just the idea that the kid didn't want me to see the parent like this,
Yeah.
because they had been over to our house many times, and the idea of like seeing a different family's normal and being like, oh,
Right.
I don't want to be reminded of what I'm like ended up missing out on because life happens, you know?
Right.
And like that's just too real. That's just too real.
Yeah.
But
Basically, we've got a really soft spot for Uo. And
Very soft
and
spot for
thank you,
Uo.
show, for giving us this episode. If we get a second episode to follow up on this with like focusing on Uo, that would be fantastic.
you don't have
That'd
to,
be so good.
but we would really like it if you could. Maybe
that same
maybe
kind of-
combo it with Hana a little bit, you know,
Right.
something. I don't know.
It's that same kind of reason that when the whole Christmas episode, the whole thing came up, I was really excited that at the very least we got the look of, into their lives, at Christmas time and stuff. But I was also like, but what if like they had like a whole Christmas thing where they just hung out together and stuff, and because I love seeing the home life of characters in high school anime. I love it. Like, especially considering that a lot of anime focus on that kind of like the wholesome feelings and stuff. Family is can be one of the best ways to get that.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah.
More of this. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.